block, baby! What up, guys? It's your boy D-WIZZLE. Thank you as always for tuning back to the channel. And today I want to give my quick thoughts on Lil Wayne's most recent album that he released on September 27th on his birthday. Well, technically it didn't really release on his birthday. It was released September 28th, midnight. And I'm still kind of salty about that. That was kind of false advertisement. He said he was going to release it on his birthday, but technically it wasn't on his birthday. So he had me waiting all that time. What's up with that? But that's neither here nor there. We're going to be finally talking about the long-awaited Carter 5. Now, I know I'm a bit late on this review. I know everyone in the interwebs has already talked about this album in full detail and reacting to the songs on the album and all that. But for me, I just didn't have time to give my immediate thoughts when the album came out. And also, this time around, I wanted to listen to the album a couple more times before I give my thoughts on the overall project, just to have a better experience and, listen to the music a little bit more, get lost in the experience, because I felt like my first album reaction, to Kanye West's project, it didn't really go as good as I wanted it to. So I think this will be a better strategy in the future, just to listen to the album a couple more times before I give my thoughts about it. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's get right into it. So to give some context, I am a Lil Wayne fan. I'm not a huge Lil Wayne fan. I don't listen to everything that he does. But overall, I do enjoy his music. I think he at a time he was one of my favorite hip hop artists out there, though. Mainly because he's just appeared everywhere. He would appear on other artists' songs like all the time, and he's pretty well known in the mainstream. He's known to have those wide appeal and mainstream hits out there. So in a way that did appeal to me at the time. If we're going to compare his other albums, as far as the Carters are concerned, I do enjoy all the Carters that he put out. I do enjoy some more than others. I think Carter 2 and Carter 3 I enjoy a lot. I think those two are like some of his best projects. Carter 1 and Carter 4 I thought were fine, but I didn't think they were as good as those other albums. As far as the ones that weren't Carters, like Rebirth and I'm Not a Human Being 1 and 2 and Free Weezy album, those I don't really revisit as much. There's a few songs on those albums that I like, but overall those weren't ones that I really want to revisit as much as the Carters. But his lasting impression on me was I'm Not a Human Being 2, which I thought was his worst album. The problem with me with Lil Wayne is that he relies too much on his punchlines and his freestyles. He even admitted quite a few times that he doesn't write his lyrics down when he works on a song. He literally goes in the studio and goes off the top of his head, which I think, I will give it, that is a talent. Like, that's not something that every person can do, For him to you just go in the studio and just freestyle whatever comes off the brain, that I will say it's a talent. However, I don't think that's something he needs to do with every song, especially when there are certain songs that I think should have more substance and he needs more time to think about, because like there are certain songs that he releases that you think he's going to talk about something that really matters, or he's going to stay on topic. For one of the examples, God Bless America, where he's talking about he's talking a little bit about the political climate and how people are being oppressed and stuff like that. And so it's like the first half of that song, he's kind of talking about that, but then he just gets distracted and talks about a girl again, which has nothing to do with the overall song. But it's just stuff like that where I'm just like, you could do so much better. I mean, I know there's certain people that don't really care about, him saying a message. He's not really an artist that really talks about that stuff. They just want to hear him, just put out some funny punchlines and go home. But, for me, I just feel like he could do more, especially because he is getting older. And it's like there's only so many times you could talk about women and sex and money and drugs. It's like you have children now. It's like talk about the kids, talk about that type of stuff. But at this point, that's not really something I'll expect from him. Really, if there's he's that type of mainstream rapper that just likes to party and all that stuff and just lives his life. So that's fine. But that I am not a human being to really had me stop listening to him, because he just fell off the deep end for me with that. And I just felt like he lost his touch. He didn't have the magic that he had, from his Carter albums to me. So I know like Carter 5 was supposed to be released like 4 or 5 years ago, and that was actually the first time I was not excited for a Carter album because of how bad his last album was, and he's doing all this cross promotion with his Young Money brand with all his other artists like Drake, Nicki, Tyga, Gutta Gutta, Mac Main, Birdman, all that stuff. I think they even released a compilation album around that time, and that was kind of helping him promote Carter 5. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, we're gonna get the same old punchline crap here and there and there. I'm really sad though, because I wanted to be excited for a Carter album. I really did. It's like I just felt really let down. I just didn't know what to really expect with this one. I didn't feel like it was going to be on the same level as Carter 3 or Carter 2. I don't even know if it would have been on the same level as Carter 4 to me. But that's the first time I was just I didn't really care that much for a Carter album, even though I did like the single that was initially going to be on the album, Believe Me, featuring Drake. I thought that was really good. But then he released another single called Crazy, which I thought was terrible. So I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be on the album. We're going to be in for another shit fest, pretty much. But then there was the controversy with Birdman and the Young Money, Cash Money label, where Birdman was pretty much holding his album hostage and not paying his artists. He wasn't paying Lil Wayne. He wasn't paying Drake, Nicki, and Tyga, whoever. It's like he was pretty much holding all that stuff ransom. So you had all that legal trouble. So at that point, Lil Wayne wasn't able to release songs from the label anymore because Birdman was holding it hostage, and that had him on a 4-year hiatus to release this Carter 5. So at that point, he just continued to release mixtapes. I haven't listened to all his mixtapes. I listened to a couple of them. I listened to some of the dedications and Sorry for the Waits and other stuff like that. I mean, I would say there's some sweet songs that he does, some sweet covers he has on the songs, but it's just at that point I'm just like, if he's not able to release a full album, like what's the point really? But that's really what we had to go off of. And then eventually he released he released a free album that was not produced by Young Money, called the Free Weezy album, and that one was fine, but it wasn't very memorable really. It was probably like one song on there that I would revisit over and over again, but that one just was meh. But then there was a point where he was doing more features with other artists, and it showed his lyrical ability again. It felt like he was, I know he wasn't writing this stuff, but it's like it felt like he was actually putting more craft into his lyrics and his flow, and trying to adapt more to the times. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, if only he was able to release the album, maybe he did change his style up. But finally, we're here in 2018, and he finally got, full creative control over his record label, and he was finally able to release his album. And I think that he was able to take this time to, revamp stuff on the Carter 5, to just update a few things. and take some time with the lyrics and producing, and get more studio time with other artists he wasn't able to do. So finally we get to this album. I was just really hoping for the best, and maybe with this 4-year 5-year period he's able to improve on his improve on his craft a little bit, and maybe we'll get some light shed on his overall what he had to deal with the controversy and stuff like that. Maybe it will reflect on this album. So overall, what did I think about the Carter 5? Well, I gotta say, I honestly think this project is the best he's made since the Carter 3. I really enjoyed this album. Lil Wayne is back. He's gone back to his original roots, but at the same time, he was successfully able to modernize himself and keep up with the trends and the style that's popular today, without making you feel like he completely sold out. Regardless of how I feel about Lil Wayne overall as an artist, what I will give to him is that he is pretty much a chameleon. He's able to adapt to any genre there is out there, whether it's hip-hop or alternative or rock or even country. I can believe Lil Wayne can work with any artist or work with any with any musical style, and this definitely showed. This album reminded me a lot of his previous work when it comes to the strengths of stuff like Carter 2 and Carter 3, and even some mainstream styles of Carter 4. It felt like it was all blended into one. You felt like there was a sense of evolution to his artistry, where you felt like the albums after Carter 4, it felt like he was detracting a lot. It felt like he's back on track. When it comes to his lyrics and him freestyling, you didn't feel like he was just completely making this up out of the blue. Like, yes, the freestyles and punchlines are there, but I felt like there was more of a purpose with his lyric ability when it came to his songs. It didn't just feel like he just freestyling off the dome like it's an episode of Wild 'N Out. It's like, yeah, he's freestyling, but you felt like there was more substance. That's pretty much what I'm saying. This album is 23 tracks long, and it's like an hour and a half, and I wasn't bored. I personally felt like this could have been a little bit shorter, but even with the songs that I didn't enjoy as much as others, I didn't think there was any songs on here that were completely bad, But if my biggest criticism with the album, I would say, is it could have been a little bit shorter. You could have shortened this to maybe like 15, 18, maybe 20 tracks. You could have lessened it a lot. But that's probably my biggest issue. But overall, it's like I haven't enjoyed a Lil Wayne album like this in a long time. Just from the start of the album, with the intro, "I Love You, Dwayne," which is pretty much it's just a recording of Lil Wayne's mom just telling him how much she loves him and how much she can't wait for the album to come out, and just appreciating how much he's done for her over the years. So it was a really beautiful start to the album for me. And then it goes right into "Don't Cry" featuring XXXTentacion, the late XXXTentacion. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't listen to all of his music, though there's a couple of stuff that he's put out that I enjoyed. I liked him, though I like him more as a singer, not so much of a rapper. So I'm glad that he's singing on this song. And yes, I know about the controversy with him. And I try to separate that. I try to separate that from the quality of the work. That's just me. I know, like with other artists, like people have a hard time separating his personal life to his music. I try to do that with with artists, and not just artists. Like I try to do that when I watch movies and there's certain actors with controversy. I try to let that go and let the performances in the film dictate how I feel. So that being said, "Don't Cry" is like one of my favorite songs on this album. I love XX Tentacion's hook. He sung it very well, and there's this ominous production in the background, very very like dark, but at the same time it's like beautiful. And I just like the production on there. It's really good. Awesome way to start the album. And then it goes right into Dedicate, where it has this awesome trap production with the piano in the background, and Lil Wayne is just spitting that flow. It's like just awesome. That's just all I can say. Just really cool. And I also liked the song he did with Travis Scott, which is pretty much an auto-tune croon for most of the song. But I am a fan of auto-tune crooning. What I mean by that is like, it's just somebody trying to sing and do melodies over auto-tune. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, I thought it worked really well. Lil Wayne had some nice bars here and there, and I liked how he was, matching melodies with Travis Scott. So I thought that was really good. Can't Be Broken is also awesome song. I think once again the shining point is the hook with the chipmunk. I don't know who's singing that sample in there, but it's like they chipmunked it up and it sounded really really cool. It feels like something Eminem would use as a hook. But that hook I really liked, and also Lil Wayne was spitting there too. That's another thing I really liked about this album is the hooks and the chorus. Like these hooks and choruses, like most of them throughout the album, is like really really good. I feel like this is the type of mainstream like hooks that artists like Eminem should use. Like you can be mainstream with the hooks and have women or whoever singing on it, but it has to sound musically well. And I feel like people like Eminem have a hard time balancing that. But Lil Wayne on this one did really well with the hooks. And then you have Dark Side of the Moon featuring Nicki Minaj. This one was an interesting one because this to me felt the most out of place in the album, but not to say that I didn't enjoy it. I actually liked this song a lot, and Nicki was singing throughout the entire song, and she was singing her ass off, man. This is like the best singing I've heard from her from any of her projects. But for me, why it feels out of place is because it literally does feel like a Nicki Minaj joint. Like it felt like a leftover song that Nicki had that didn't make the cut of Queen or her previous albums, and she was like, "Okay, let's give you this song, Lil Wayne. Let's have this be your song." That's pretty much how it felt to me. But regardless, I still enjoyed the song. It was pretty good, and the lyrics and stuff. It pretty much felt like a like a interstellar galaxy type love poem, whatever. It was a bit corny, but it worked for the tone of the song. And then we get to what I feel is the best song on the album is Mona Lisa featuring Kendrick Lamar. Oh my god, Lil Wayne and Kendrick spitted so hard on that song. This is some of the best flow and lyricism I have heard from Lil Wayne in a long time. And Kendrick, he's gonna kill it. You know he's gonna kill it. But another thing, it felt like this Kendrick reminded me a lot of the Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly type era. Like he was using that similar flow with the weird voices and stuff like that. It worked really well for me. I know a lot of people don't care for when he does his weird voices and whatever, but for me, I think it's really cool. I just like how he goes into this different character and mindset, and then he's just able to switch and adapt his his flow and tone of voice like but a snap of his fingers. I just love how he's able to do that. And for this song, I felt like him using his weird voice actually fit, because with Lil Wayne, he's trying to adapt to Lil Wayne's style, because Lil Wayne was pretty much doing his high pitched stuff for the entire song, so it felt like he wanted to match. And also at the same time, they told an interesting story. That's what I liked. That's what I like about hip hop songs in general, that they tell a story. And this one definitely told a story, but at the same time, it felt energetic, and this is something you could play from the club and stuff like that. So that really worked for me. Though talking a little bit about Lil Wayne's voice, the one of the things that I don't really care for, I think is kind of irritating about Lil Wayne, is when he gets too excited when he's spitting, and then he gets really high pitched and all that. It's like, I mean, I know you're excited, Lil Wayne, but you need to calm down a little bit, because I like when he's like, he's calm and reserved, but when he's doing like this and he's rapping like that, it's like, no, okay, calm down, Lil Wayne, calm it down a little bit. I think this is like the only song where that high pitched stuff really worked for me. But like when he goes high pitched on stuff like Dedicate and then Hit Us and Open Safe and stuff like that, it's just that's the stuff I just didn't care for. That's another kind of nitpick for me, but it didn't take away from the overall experience. What About Me? I also liked that one. You can tell that's going to be like a radio hit, like a pop hit, like, because he's singing an auto tune. It gives you some of the vibes of a mixture of Lollipop and How to Love. It's kind of a mixture of that. So I would be surprised if they don't try to play this song on the radio, because it definitely feels like a radio hit. Sosaman, whoever was featured on that with him, I didn't care for his verse really. It surprisingly enough, he didn't feel as musically consistent as Lil Wayne, which is surprising to me. It's like Lil Wayne was singing better than him, so I could have done without his verse completely. But overall, that's also one of my favorite songs on the album. Uproar, featuring Swiss Beats. I thought it was a pretty good song. It reminded me of those early 2000s club banger, hits. But me personally, I liked Swiss Beats and Lil Wayne's song that they put out before the album was released, Pistol on My Side. I like that song a little bit more. I think that was a better collab than this one. So I wish that song was on the album instead of Uproar, but I still enjoyed Uproar quite a bit. I also really liked the track Dope Niggas featuring Snoop Dogg. I really liked that it had that West Coast production. I forgot what song that was from, that the sample that they were using, but I definitely really liked that. And also Snoop Dogg was really good on the hook. Awesome flow from Lil Wayne. Also, I wish Snoop had a verse on there, but he was just doing the chorus, which was fine. Open Letter, Hit Us, Open Safe, Demon. Those are all bona fide, like him just spitting off the dome, and all three of them had really good production on that on those tracks. He also featured his daughter Reginae Carter on one of his songs, Famous. She was doing the hook, and she actually was singing really well. I was very surprised. But yeah, it's a really good alternative hook. And then we have Start the Shit Off Right featuring Ashanti and Mac Main. I heard a lot of people don't like that song, and I don't know why. I thought it was pretty good. It reminded me of some vibes of the early 2000s hip hop, with the hook and Ashanti singing the chorus. And Mac Main actually was alright. Yeah, some of the verses were kind of cheesy, but it's like, this is what I expect from this album, really. And then Dope New Gospel. That's the one song. I think that's one of the weakest songs on the album, really. I thought the hook from Navia was really good, but like Lil Wayne's like verses and all that, it didn't mix well with the chorus, really. The chorus felt like a hook that Drake had left over, but then Lil Wayne was singing about something completely different, so that was kind of an odd choice for me. But overall, I didn't hate the song. And then the entire album ends off with Let It All Work Out, where he's talking about his struggles, and he's talking about what he's been through. And I also love the hook on that too. And it ended very poetically with another recording of his mother. So I thought that was very well done. I just like that this album, he's able to get more personal, but he doesn't get too personal with the point where you can't enjoy yourself. And that's all that I want from Lil Wayne, is just have a little bit of a message. Since you are getting older, It's like we just appreciate that you would talk about stuff a little bit more. You don't have to completely go out there because you're Lil Wayne and we know what to expect. So if you're a Lil Wayne fan, I think you're really going to enjoy this album if you haven't listened to it already. But if you're not, I'm going to be honest, this album doesn't really win you over or anything, but you'll be happy to know that this is not as awful as his other projects like Rebirth and I Am Not a Human Being 2, and it's not as forgettable as his other previous work. But I think this is back to form for Lil Wayne, and I really enjoyed it. If this is his last album, I think this is a serviceable way to for him to end off on. I think this is a solid project to end off with. Though I don't think he's going to be old. I don't think he's going to be done after this. I have a feeling he has more to contribute. And in a way, I know this is kind of weird to say, but I think it's good that he had to hold this album off for all these years and have to deal with controversy, because if he didn't, I feel like the album wouldn't be as strong as it is now if he released it 4 years ago. Like, he had time to redo his own flow, redo his lyrics, and had more substance to give to the album. So for me, I think this is a good form. One thing I will say, I'm surprised that Drake was not on this album at all. I think this is like the first album that Drake is not featured on. So this was kind of surprising to me. I would at least have thought that they would have kept that Believe Me single that came out a few years ago, but I guess that was too long of a wait. Or they could have used some of his recent songs that he had on his mixtape or something like that, or they could have just did a completely new song. But it just felt odd to me that Drake wasn't on the album at all, because he's just him and Drake have been working together for so long, so I'm just surprised that he wasn't on it. But that's okay. It still ended up being a good project. So overall, I'm going to give the Carter 5 8.9 out of 10. Really solid project. I do recommend you listening to this if you are a Lil Wayne fan, and maybe some casuals that aren't as huge of a Wayne fan out there. I think they would enjoy this as well. But what did you guys think about the Carter 5? If you guys have listened to it already, did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let me know. Comment down below if there's any other projects you want me to review. And thank you as always for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.